Hey, it's your boy Kai, and welcome to Kai Watches Gilmore Girls, the show where I sit and I watch Gilmore Girls for the very first time and I document my entire experience. Today, we're going to be looking over season 5, episode 9 of the series. We're just breezing along. We're just doing this piece by piece. We are going. My screen is bigger now. Figured that out. So here we are. Let's do this. You ready to do this? My friends, if you enjoy what you're watching today, please be sure to hit that subscribe button and hit the notification bell. That way you're going to be the first to know whenever I post something here on YouTube. You're going to see it here on YouTube first before I post it anywhere else, before I post it on TikTok, before I post it on Instagram. Wherever it is, I post it here on the YouTube first. So make sure you subscribe to my channel. Also, if you are a fan of Gilmore Girls, be sure to get your Gilmore Girls gear on my website. Some of the items include t-shirts and aprons and bags and sweatshirts, whatever you want. It has some of your favorite Gilmore Girls moments and quotes on those merchandise pieces. You can get it on my website, thevibewithkai.com, where there is a sale going on right now. Also, if you like me, you can follow me on your favorite social media platforms. Follow me on Facebook, YouTube, TikTok, Instagram, Twitter, at The Vibe with Kai, where I'm always posting things that'll help you do good, feel good, be good, and live a good life full of good vibes. My friends, let's do this. Season 5, Episode 9. The episode is entitled Emily Says Hello. We're going to know why she says that in a minute. Episode starts off, we got Lorelai and Taylor having a little rendezvous outside of Taylor's because he has to hit some stuff because it sounds like Sookie is just having the munchies because of her pregnancy and she's just craving everything. I am told that's what happens with pregnant women, is that you just kind of get the munchies and you just crave the most absurd things in the world. I'm a man, so I know nothing. I am a man. I don't have any children, nor do I have a wife. I don't think that I have a wife, but there was this one time in Las Vegas that things got a little crazy. So I don't know. Look at her. She is she is pregnant and she and she is hungry and she is just in her feels. And I obviously know I will never know what it's like to be a woman, but Sookie is oh my god, Melissa McCarthy. She's just a genius, isn't she? Can we just give a second and just give Melissa McCarthy just some love here? Because she has obviously gone on to become one of the most worldwide mega superstars when it comes to comedy movies and things like that. And it all like pretty much started here. Who would have thought back in 2004 when this episode ran that Melissa McCarthy would end up becoming one of the biggest comedy superstars in the world? I mean, it makes sense because of who she is and like we see what she's capable of doing, but just who'd have thunk? Who'd have thunk that she would become like the biggest superstar out of this entire cast? Congratulations. You get your flowers today, Melissa McCarthy. We have Paris and Rory here in their dorm room, and Paris is working on a article about Ramadan, so she decides that she's going to participate in Ramadan because apparently she is a method actor, and she decides that she's going to go full Ramadan with all of this, and she's not eating at all. And Rory makes a very funny comment where she says, people that don't eat, tend to get a little snippy, in which Paris was snippy and she snipped something back, obviously. That was a funny moment. Lorelai continues to just take advantage of the fact that the store owner or the diner owner is her boyfriend. And we saw this play out not too long ago. I think this was in the episode when Jackson was running for the whatever Taylor's position is, right? And so she just kind of took over the diner as the headquarters, and now she's just walking behind the counter, and he's like, "Oh my god, please, what? You're lucky that you're a good kisser. You're lucky that you make me happy, Lorelai, because you should not be back here on my phone." Okay. In this moment right here, Rory and what's his name, Marty, have a moment here where they are like he got some food and they say, "Oh, what is this bacon wrapped in?" And then he says something that bacon should not be wrapped in. And then the sequence goes as follows. Either he or she says, huh, rich people, they live such different lives. And I can't help but sit here and be like, oh, these Ivy League students are saying this. Rory is obviously rich. I don't know much about Marty, but I'm going to assume that he has enough money to attend an Ivy League, unless he got a scholarship. I don't know. Maybe that's something that they answered in a previous episode and I just missed it, or maybe it's something in a future episode that they address. I don't know. But I'm just going to assume that both of them have money. So for them to write off rich people as if they are not rich themselves kind of made me chuckle. Oh boy, TJ. TJ comes into play here. He had a little water, towel rack incident at his house. And so he decided to demo his entire bathroom, which meant that he can't actually take a shower. So he's coming over to Luke to see if he can take a shower at Luke's. This man has been to jail. He has this man. He's TJ is annoying but fine. Like sometimes I think his scenes go on just a little bit too long, but then I'm like, you know what? It's nice levity. It's nice levity from like some of the more serious topics that go on in Gilmore Girls world. So TJ is actually growing on me in a way. I think sometimes it's a little too much, and like this whole scene right here, I think went on a little bit too long, but it was still some levity to this entire scenario that's been going on over the last couple of episodes, especially with Dean and with Logan and with Emily and Richard. You know, and then in the previous episode he was also fighting. And like it's just nice levity to have this moment between those two, which we'll actually talk more about later. How has Michel not been fired from his job? I mean, I get it. I know why he hasn't been fired, because obviously him and Lorelai and Sookie go way back, and I would imagine he's good at his job. But he also does things to the clients, to the customers, to the patrons of said Dragonfly Inn that I'm like, how does this man still have a job? Later on the episode, we find out that he was chasing around people that he assumed was stealing bathrobes, which they were, by the way. But this is not the first instance of Michel doing something to a guest where I'm like, if I were to do that, I probably would get fired at my job in real life. But once again, this is another piece of good levity for this season, which has been a little heavy given the back and forth with love and relationships and all that kind of stuff. So nice levity here for Michel and his humor that he provides. Christopher comes back into play here. Last time we saw him, Rory went over to his house and was like, do not talk to my mom ever again. Every time you come into her life, you ruin things. And he's like, okay, I get it. All right. So obviously Lorelai doesn't know this. So she's like, wow, Christopher hasn't called me in forever and a day. I'm going to call him. So she calls him and he picks up the phone. He's like, hey. And this whole conversation is really interesting because it starts off like he's like, I'm just going to try to get off the phone because Rory told me not to talk to you. Right. And I actually found this moment very sweet. I found that moment very sweet for him because like he really is listening to Rory. He's like, you know what? Maybe Rory has a point, I guess. I don't know. But whatever it is, Rory is very upset, whether he agrees with her or not. He wants Lorelai to be happy. And here's the thing that baffles me a little bit about some of the responses that I get about Christopher. A lot of people obviously like to bring up that Christopher, was an absentee father, obviously, for 16 years of Rory's life. And they hold that against him. But what I find very interesting is that some audience members hold that against him, but Lorelai doesn't. Do you realize that? Like, if you go through and read some of the comments about, whether it's here on YouTube or my TikTok channel or my Instagram channel, and if I were to bring up Christopher, look at some of the comments. People don't like Christopher because they feel he's been a bad dad, because he's flaky, he hasn't been around, and like, which I get. I totally get why. But I also find it very interesting that everybody, not everybody, a lot of people, because I know there's some Chris people out there, like, I'm one of them. I like Chris. I don't mind Chris at all. Is he perfect? No. He has flaws, obviously. But I don't dislike Chris. But there's people that really, really, really dislike Chris. Perhaps because it might be something that is triggering for them in their life, perhaps, which is understandable. This is, an absentee father in somebody's life is, I mean, that is, it can be heart wrenching, which I totally get. But that aside, I do find it very interesting that, Lorelai doesn't hold the same amount of grudge against Christopher as some of the audience of Gilmore Girls. Do y'all see the same thing, or have y'all ever thought about that before? Maybe maybe I missed it. Maybe there's something that happens in the future that maybe that's will change my mind. But I mean, it's been 5 seasons so far. Is this season 5, episode 9? And like Chris has had his moments, but he's generally been there, right? And Lorelai has liked him. Lorelai's been there for him. Lorelai doesn't seem to hold a grudge against Christopher at all. Like it doesn't seem to be apparent, at least to me. I might be wrong, but that's how I view it. I found that conversation very. Oh, let me go back for a second. So the really interesting thing about how this conversation ended is that it started off like very much like he was trying to get off the phone because Rory told him not to talk to mom, right? But then they started talking, and then he was like, you know what? Maybe I'll bring Gigi around and into the hood, and and Lorelai can see Gigi. And so they set a date, so they're going to have lunch, right? And that the conversation kind of shifted there, which I found to be very, very interesting. And it's another reason why, like, I like. Don't get me wrong. Please, once again, let me preface this by saying that I like Luke. Luke is my favorite character in the TV show. I ship Luke and Lorelai. I'm all about it. So let me make sure that's abundantly clear. But I just want to say that I also am a fan of Chris and Lorelai. I am. They have a history together. I do like them together. Or they've known each other obviously for a long time. They have a daughter together, and whenever I see them together, I don't know, it just works for me. That's nothing against Luke. Please don't take it as such. Nothing against Luke. I like Luke. Luke is my favorite character. I hope him and Lorelai stay together forever. But I like Chris. I have nothing against Chris at all. So Rory and Lorelai, this is Rory's idea, but Lorelai goes along with it. Rory and Lorelai decide that they're going to divide and conquer because they're tired of having these separate dinners where they go to hang out with Richard and then they go to hang out with Emily, right? So they decided to divide and conquer. Rory's going to hang out with Richard, and Lorelai's going to hang out with Emily. And the goal is to get them to realize that they should probably get back together, right? Rory is happy with the work that she made during this scene, and Lorelai ends up not doing so well. Why? Because Emily says that she wants to start dating, and Lorelai is like, "Wait, what?" Yeah, she decides that they're gonna start dating. Good for Emily. Emily wants to put herself out there, and that I was happy for her. But that obviously was not part of the plan. So Rory was like, "What the heck, man?" Cue the most awkward lunch ever. Rory shows up to the lunch that Lorelai and Christopher planned with Gigi. Rory wasn't expecting Chris to be there. Chris wasn't expecting Rory to be there. Lorelai ends up getting called away for a second to go handle the situation. So that leaves Rory and Christopher talking to each other. So Rory is like, "What the heck are you doing here? I told you not to contact my mom." And Christopher's like, "I didn't contact her. She called me, and it was her idea to have lunch." And Rory's like, "I don't believe you. I don't believe you." Now, I think I get that Rory is trying to protect her mom, right? But I think that Rory was a little much in this scene. I think she was a little much. Like that, I don't like the way that she was talking to Christopher here. Like, once again, let me preface this by saying that I get it. I get that she's trying to protect her mom, and her and Lorelai have a conversation after Christopher leaves, like suddenly, where Lorelai's like, look, stop, please. I'll be fine. But the crux of that was, and this was the thing that I took away the most from the scene with Lorelai and Rory, is that Rory says, well, what did Luke say? And Lorelai's like, what did Luke say about what? And Rory's like, what did Luke say about you having lunch with Christopher? And what does Lorelai do? She lies. And when she said it at first, I'm like, oh, it sounds like that's, I don't remember. When she first said it, I was like, I don't remember there's being a scene where Lorelai is telling Luke that she's going to lunch with Chris. But I mean, it's a TV show, so maybe it happened off screen. But I felt that was something fishy. But then it was confirmed in the very next scene, which I'll go to right here. Very next scene, she confirms to Sookie that she lied to Lorelai and that she didn't tell Luke that she was going to dinner, or she was going to lunch with Christopher. And she's trying to explain. She's trying to like understand why. Why did I not say anything? Which we'll get into in a second. Anyway, this is a good time to let you know that I do have a podcast. It's called the Vibe with Kai Podcast. It's available on Apple Podcasts, Google Podcasts, Spotify, and you can watch it here on YouTube as well. Where the podcast isn't just about Gilmore Girls. It's about a lot of different things. I just happen to use it to do some Gilmore Girls stuff every now and then. In fact, my most recent interviews, I interviewed Shelley Cole, who played Madeline on Gilmore Girls. I interviewed John Cabrera, who played Brian on Gilmore Girls. Next week, I'm going to be interviewing Rini, who plays Lulu on Gilmore Girls. So if you're looking for a podcast, it's all about good vibes, positive energy, some cool interviews and stuff like that. Subscribe. Vibe with Kai Podcast. You can find it on Apple Podcasts, Google Podcasts, Spotify, YouTube. You can find it all there. This is the face that Luke gives when Lorelai tells him that she kind of slips it in there. She's like, oh, yeah, me, Christopher, and Rory had lunch. And he's like, wait, what? Pause, what? This is the face that he gives. He's a little taken back, obviously, because, he's just kind of finding out. And, Lorelai just kind of snuck it in there. And he's like, wait, what? What the heck? So it's like, he's not like mad. He's just like, wait, what? How am I supposed to feel about that? Emily calls Lorelai in a fussy mood. Why? Because she has a date and she doesn't know what to wear. I love how people call Lorelai in a time of need. Whenever something like is crazy going down, like last minute kind of thing, Lorelai is always there for people. Even if she's working, like in the middle of the day, she'll just come and help no matter what. And that just says something about her character. I don't mean like character like, Lauren Graham's character. I mean like the character's character. How she holds other people so close to her heart, even if they're not super close. Like she'll be there. Remember what she did to Taylor during the election? Like I'm not a big fan of Taylor, but what she did, at the last minute, she's like, oh, I feel bad. I bet you he got 0 votes. So she like tried to get a couple votes from him. Remember when during the wedding, with Luke's with Jess's mom and TJ. Remember that? Remember her dress broke, and she just showed up, and she helped fix the dress, among many other things. Luke does the same thing sometimes. He'll just show up and just fix things. So I think this says a lot about Luke and Lorelai. But anyway, so Lorelai here helps her mom pick out an outfit, which I'm pretty sure is awkward because she's like, oh my God, I'm helping my mom get ready for a date when I was supposed to be trying to get her to get back with my father. Rory would not be happy, but it's happening. Going out on a date. This was a cool moment right here between these two, between TJ and Luke. I like this moment because, like brother-in-law, where they're fixing the pipe for the house that TJ bought. And I thought this was a cool moment. So like here, Luke kind of subtly asked for advice on the whole situation with Lorelai hanging out with Christopher and not really telling him. And like TJ doesn't really fully understand, obviously. In fact, he thinks that with the way that Luke is phrasing it, he thinks that he's talking about his wife, aka Luke's sister, going out and hanging out with, an ex and all that. which is a funny moment. But I like this. I like that moment between these two. I thought it was really good. Emily is out on a date. Out on a date with the wonderful actor Larry Pine. This is Larry Pine, by the way. Larry Pine is a very good actor. He's been in a lot. Look him up. Look him up on IMDb, on Google. Type in Larry Pine. You've seen this guy in a movie before. He's been in a lot of movies. But she's out on a date, and the date seems to be going swimmingly well. It went very well. As you can see, they're at Olive Garden. No, they're not out. They're definitely at Applebee's. They got that half price appetizer after 9 o'clock. That's where they're at right now. Obviously, right? No. They're at TGI Fridays. She looks like a TGI Fridays gal. They're at a very nice restaurant. They're having a pleasant conversation. It seems to be going very well. They seem to be connecting, but we'll get more into that in a second. Luke and Lorelai share a nice little tender moment here, where Luke says to Lorelai, "Hey, listen, the whole thing about you and Christopher hanging out, it's fine. I just want to let you know that it's okay." Look at them communicating with each other. I like that they're actually communicating with each other. That was really nice. That was really nice to see, not just for the TV show, but just in general. Because in relationships, I feel like people don't communicate anymore, which is something that I'm guilty of sometimes. I just don't communicate as well as I should have. And being open and honest and vulnerable with people. We're scared to do it sometimes. But Luke is like, you know what? I thought about it, and it's okay. Everything's okay, which I'm pretty sure Lorelai appreciates. So this was a very interesting moment. I don't know if they're like trying to set something up here, like some sort of thing between Marty and Rory. That's the vibe I'm getting. Maybe they're dropping little subtle breadcrumbs here, but I don't know. Maybe I'm overthinking it, but I find it very interesting that they had this moment here between these two. Because this could have easily been a moment between Rory and Logan, but no, it's a moment between Rory and Marty, which I find to be very interesting. Once again, I might be thinking too much into it, because for those of you that don't know, I've never seen this show, so I'm watching it for the first time. So I don't know what's going to come next. But I find it very interesting that they put these two together, and they have this specific moment where she talks about how bad her week was and how she broke up with Dean. Let the record show that she acknowledges in this scene that she broke up with Dean. She says it twice. That's why I don't think it was a mistake. She says, "I broke up with my boyfriend." Just want to point that out. Look at me stirring the pot. I can already see people typing up, "No, he broke up with her." I'm just stirring the pot. I'm just causing a ruckus. Anyway, I found this scene to be very interesting between these two. And then the episode ends with Emily. Shout out to this performance here. I did like this final moment that Emily had. She performed it well, and I can feel. She didn't say a single word, but I felt everything that she was saying in this moment, in just her gestures, her stance, her posture, her face, her tears that ended up coming out. Like I really enjoyed that. I know a lot of people are going to be like, "Oh, do you feel for Emily?" I mean, I feel for people because I am an empath. I don't like hate anybody. My view on her hasn't changed. I still think that she's not really my vibe. But I felt for her. I did feel for her here. And I wish they gave her more moments like this, because I wish they did it more often, I should say, because quite often we just see her as this like controlling, manipulating, rich woman. And I hope that they spend some more time showing her in being more vulnerable like this, because I really enjoyed that moment. I think if they showed more of that, I think I would appreciate her character a little bit more than I do now. So hopefully we'll see more of that. So what do I think of the episode is the question of the day, huh? What did I think of the episode? Well, I give it a 6 out of 10. Nothing really happened in this episode. Nothing like really happened. I mean, it wasn't a bad episode. It was okay. It was fine. It was about average. I give it a 6 out of 10. It wasn't bad. It was okay. Not really like funny. It had some few moments, but nothing from this episode will really really stands out to me. So I thought it was just okay. With that said, friends, thank you so much for watching. Make sure that you hit that subscribe button, follow me on YouTube, hit that notification button, and you're going to be the first to know whenever I post something here on YouTube. Once again, I posted it here on YouTube before I posted it anywhere else. Before I posted it on TikTok, Instagram, Twitter, I posted it here first. And it's an extended mindset that I give here. I don't put this anywhere else except for YouTube. So you'll be the first to know. If you like me, you can follow me on all of your favorite social media platforms. Follow me on Facebook, YouTube, Twitter, Instagram, TikTok, at The Vibe with Kai, where I'm always posting things that'll help you do good, feel good, be good, and live a good life full of good vibes. And The Vibe with Kai. That's me. Thank you so much for watching. I appreciate you. As always, my friends, God bless, and good vibes.